मैम कॉल करने के लिए आपका दिन शुभ रहे।
Hello and welcome. This is the Market Wrap. I'm Agam Vakil. Well, when it comes to the benchmark indices, as you can see on your screen, we've seen some gains. And while the Nifty did struggle to, move above the mark of 10,600 yesterday, it has managed to do so today. And in terms of gainers today, what we've actually seen is a lot of strength from the likes of Adani Ports, Titan Company, Eicher Motors and Kotak Mahindra Bank. I do want to mention ICICI Bank. It doesn't show up in this list, but it has touched a new life high today, and we can watch out for that. Of course, on the losing end, we do have Grasim Industries, that's down 8%. Yes Bank also taking a knock around 7.5%. Indiabulls Housing Finance. So a lot of financials out there taking a little bit of a hit. But perhaps the more interesting space here to address is the broader market. And when it comes to the NSE 500, we're seeing one gainer for one loser. On the gaining end, Jet Airways, look at that. It's closed 24% in the green. We've seen another 10% increase in Adani Transmission. It's actually locked in upper circuit. Eclipse is, well, not a very liquid stock, but that's up around to 9.6%. Max Financial, Allahabad Bank, Jeevan Financial, something like a Bandhan Bank, GM Financial, a whole host of these financial stocks are advancing in trade. Not to forget something like Just Dial, which is also showing a lot of strength, along with an Apollo Hospitals, where we've seen a lot of longs building in the future space. On the losing end, PC Jeweler, Vodafone Idea, and we're going to talk about Vodafone Idea in a little more detail later. Page Industries falling by 8%, closing at day's lows. Grasim Industries, NBCC, along with something like a Deepak Fertilizer and Motherson Sumi, also taking a severe cut in today's job freight for the second straight day. So a whole host of stocks, but mixed cues coming in. Let's bring in our markets editor, Neeraj Shah, to get in his perspective. Neeraj, the earnings are done. We don't have too many, more events, at least in the near future. Does that mean that we're likely to see the Indian markets move to the tune of what we see in the world as well as crude?
Yeah, God alone knows. I would presume crude would be it, because that is having its impact, telltale signs on what the currency is doing as well, and looking like macro is improving at the margin. But frankly, you hear any of these people with wisdom talk on the platform over the last few days, and everybody is saying that they're all on the sidelines until the December 11 event is out of the way. So until that happens, and Chris Wood went a step ahead and said that he will also wait for the NBFC rollovers to happen before he takes a call. So I'm guessing a lot of people are on the sidelines. It's probably showing in the way the flows are as well. The domestics or the foreign flows are not really enormous. Yesterday the volumes were high, and we had 250 crores of volumes.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if the volumes are a bit lackluster in today's session as well. I think participation is a bit of an issue in these days. But yeah, I mean, most people saying that go out and buy some select quality names when the valuations are in your favor, and clearly the valuations are in your favor only when you look at the broader end of the spectrum. The Nifty 50, anything that is doing well is priced to perfection or beyond. Right. So maybe the mid-cap stocks here and there, one or two, but I think everybody is kind of waiting on the sidelines and figuring out. Crude has done what it's done. Let's see what happens over the course of the next few days. Right. The volumes front.
Absolutely. Neeraj, thank you for that
Thanks,
perspective here. But what about levels? What can we watch out for? This is what Abhijit Phatak of Definite Solutions is telling us. Listen in.
Both are bullish, and in fact Bank Nifty is more bullish than the Nifty, because it has already closed above the 200-day moving average yesterday as well as today, and I expect Nifty to also follow the same way. And Nifty, as long as the stop loss is a bit far away below 10,500, but Nifty is still bullish, and I expect it to cross 10,700 in the coming days. Buying Nifty futures and selling a 10,700 call, which is around 90, 95, maybe if you can get it near 100 or even here, that can be a good hedge, because if it goes below 10,500, this call will pay for the loss in the futures.
So it was a tough day of trade for those investors who are long in Vodafone Idea, because that stock did correct by as much as 10%, almost 11%. And we have Somit Sarkar, who is now joining us to give us an idea about why this correction. So Somit, why don't you tell us?
Well, three reasons why this correction, we saw this kind of correction today in Vodafone Idea. Firstly is that the company said that they will be looking to raise close to 25,000 crore rupees. Now 25,000 crore rupees for a company which has a market capitalization of 36,000 crore rupees, it's a huge kind of investment that the company is looking, which will lead to up to 41% equity dilution. So that's the first thing. Now second is the debt of the company. Now if you see the net debt of the company is more than 1,12,000 crore rupees, which means that the net debt to EBITDA, which is the leverage ratio, is currently 24 times. And even after this fund infusion of 25,000 crore rupees, the net debt to EBITDA would come down to only 18.6 times. It would be still at an elevated level when compared to its peers like Airtel and Reliance Jio. So that's the second concern that the investors and street has on Vodafone Idea. And third is on the results. Now if you see the Q2 results of the company, they were very weak. The revenue of the company was close to 7,700 crore rupees. The company reported a big net loss of close to 5,000 crore rupees. EBITDA was close to 461 and the margins were as low as 6%. Also the average revenue per user, now that was the lowest in the industry for Vodafone Idea at close to 88 rupees. So these were the three concerns which led to this such kind of a downfall when it comes to the Vodafone Idea.
Fair enough, Samit. Thank you for joining us and giving us those details. We're going to have to wait and watch whether or not the pain in Vodafone Idea remains and stays. But a bank which is in focus today and it's made an up move, it's Kotak Bank, and we have Yatin Mota, who's joining us to give us an update on the same. Yatin, what do you have for us?
Well, in the block window today morning, we had a block deal which happened, and what we gather is that ING group, which held on to nearly 3.7% stake, has sold, almost 0.7% stake today. They totally hold a little over 7 crore shares and almost 1.7 crore shares traded in the block deal today morning. And what the sources indicate to Bloomberg Quint is that at this point in time, ING group really wants to exit the balance stake in Kotak Mahindra Bank, and that could happen in block deals in various tranches. Of course, the pricing and the timing clearly would depend on the institutional appetite and demand, and of course market conditions. Of course, when we contacted ING regarding the block deals and the potential exit report, they said that they will not comment on market speculation, but clearly at this point in time, sources do indicate that ING is all set to exit its 3.7% stake in Kotak Bank, which is a residual stake worth almost a little over $1 billion or so.
Okay, so that's the update on Kotak Mahindra Bank. Yatin, thank you for bringing us those details as well. So watch out for some of those financial names as well as we move into trade tomorrow. But with that, it's a wrap on the markets, but lots more lined up, so stay tuned to Bloomberg Quint.